Alright, what is up everyone? This is your boy Mr. Rogers, and we're coming at you with a Voiceless deck profile. Let's get right into it. For the main deck, and I feel like this is pretty standard, doesn't need too much explaining. 3 copies of Low, 3 copies of Saphira, 1 Ceravis, 2 Skull Guardian, and then the one card that not everyone is playing, but I choose to, the new Saphira Ritual. All of this is pretty standard except for this Saphira. Not everyone plays it, but I really like its effect. Draw 2, discard 1, or when you declare an attack, make your opponent ditch a random card from the hand. And it also helps us to climb into a level 7 XYZ monster. To be continued. Then for the spells, we are playing the 3 Barrier, 2 Prayers, 1 Blessing, and then 1 Radiance. And this is also pretty standard. 3 of because it's your main searcher, 2 because sometimes it's nice to have it in your opening hand, and you generally want to have 1 in your graveyard. That way, if your ritual monster leaves to fill the card effect, banish it, summon out another ritual monster, ignoring the cost and condition. And then, so you have 1 in your graveyard for that effect, and then another one still in your deck for follow-up play. 1 copy of Blessing and then 1 Radiance. Those are very easy to place on your board using Low, either during your first turn or during your opponent's turn. So those should definitely be kept on 1. Triple copies of Diviner with the 1 Trias. That's pretty standard. Trias triggering off Diviner lets you go into Low, summon 1 out from your deck. If you have Trias in your hand, it's really cool because not only does it help you dodge, effects that target like Imperm or Veiler, but instead of having to send this from your deck, then you can send, your Herald from your extra deck, and then you have 2 effects triggering in the graveyard at the same time, so you can chain block the Diviner from Ash using the Herald effect as Chain Link 2. And then for our other non-voiceless rituals, we have 1 copy of Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph, and then the Ceravis Ritual. You'll see probably most people playing 2 Ceravis instead, but since I heavily want to go first, this is a really good card to have on my board, just to have protection against what I want to do for the following turn. Other non-engine cards, 3 copies of Kestir Fenrir. He's a level 7, which is really nice because that fulfills the level requirement cost when ritual summoning, same level or higher. Only slight downside is when you're using Prayers of the Voiceless Voice, it mentions that you have to use a light monster, but using either Blessings to ritual summon or Saphira's effect, Banish to ritual summon, he is free game to use as ritual material. Then for our other spells, we're running triple pre-prep, and then a single copy of Called By. Pre-prep is just too good. Hand traps, 3 Ash, 3 Nib, single Ghost Ogre. There's not a specific reason for this. It's mainly just because it is a light monster, which can help for tribute material. It can definitely be a little sacky sometimes, and I needed a 40th card for my deck, so that's why I run it. And then last 3 cards in the main deck, triple Imperm. For the extra deck, we have single copy of Intis, Herald of the Arclight, like I mentioned earlier, Chaos Angel. I don't make him a ton, but it is nice to have just as a backup. we are running one copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac, and this is my favorite part of the deck, the combo line that you can go through. It takes 2 level 7 monsters, so ideally you will have Castrera Fenrir on the board, plus the Saphira Ritual. You already used her effect to draw 2, discard 1, and then you overlay both of them into Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. He'll use his effect to summon out 2 tokens, and then those 2 tokens you will link off into these 2 copies of Link Spider. One will go here in the extra deck monster zone, and then the other copy will link directly below it because the arrow points down. Then from there, you're going to link both of those off into your G Golem Crystal Heart, which requires just 2 Cyrus monsters. Then a Crystal Heart's effect can be activated to target an Earth Link monster in your graveyard, Link Spider, summon it to the zone it points to. So now you got a 2 and a 1, almost a 2 and a 3. But you got a 2 and a 1 that are both Cyrus monsters with different attributes. Link those off in the Decode Talker Heat Soul, pay 1,000 with Heat Soul, get another draw. So up until this point, you've drawn 3 cards, and you're on your way to building a very good board. So Dracosac will still be on the field. Usually I summon him here in this zone in defense position. And then once you've accomplished his draw, you'll link both of those off, a 3 and a 1, into Appaloosa. So Appaloosa will have 2 monster negates. If I have a Skull Guardian and a low on the field, then I'm most likely gonna link those off into my single copy of Dynamondo. And then you pass priority to your opponent to go to their turn in their draw phase. Once they pass priority to you, you trigger Dynamondo, sack himself, summon back the Skull Guardian, and then low triggers to summon herself back, and then she'll place a continuous Voiceless spell or trap face up on the field. So at any point during those effects triggering, if your opponent has like a Pistol, DD Crow, something like that, Appaloosa is amazing protection against that. If you're going second and you have the resources to follow that same path, then you'll replenish your hand, and then instead of going into Appaloosa, you go into Access Code, and then you're gonna have 3 or 4 different attributes in the graveyard, all differing attributes, and you'll get to pop a bunch of stuff and then go for game. Other cards we're running, of course we're running SP, obviously. Single copy of Relinquished Anima. Super easy to use low to go into this, and let's say you activated Nibiru during your opponent's turn, place Nibiru in the zone adjacent to the extra monster zone, or across from it, whatever the proper word usage is. Summon low, link her off into Anima. Anima gets to steal that token. It's not going to gain the attack and defense because the token is assumed as 0, the original attack. But it's still a really good way to clear the board of that token, because sometimes it's so big it's hard to beat over. And then from there you can link off the Anima and then something else into your SP, and then you're going to get the banish, on summon banish from that. And the other 2 links we're playing are Almirage and Secure Gardna. This is not the main, I don't always try and bring these ones out, but a lot of times because of the way you've been interrupted, you normal summon low, she gets negated, you don't get to place anything on the field. If you have Blessing in your hand or on the field already, then it's really cool because you can link low off into Almirage and then link Almirage off into Secure Gardna. And then if you have Blessing on your field and a ritual monster in hand and the correct, material to tribute off for it, then you'll bring out your ritual monster, hopefully Skull Guardian, and then Lo will trigger in the graveyard. So at least she'll be back on the field with the Skull Guardian with her negate live, ready for your opponent's turn. For the side deck, we are running triple Ghost Bell and triple Droll. For the kind of people that I play against, this is just what I personally choose to run in my side deck. I think it's the most effective. We're running 2 copies of Thrust with a bunch of Thrust targets evenly, Feather Duster, Dark Ruler, and then we're also running 2 copies of Tactics and 2 Lightning Storm. Obviously those are very sacky cards. Sacky meaning you'll do a lot of damage to your opponent, so even though they are also searchable off of Thrust, sometimes it's really nice just running 2 copies of each. Sometimes you want to see it in your opening hand. So that is the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the profile. Any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to comment. I'm hopefully going to be uploading a replay video on Yugioh Pro pretty soon after this, so you'll get to see the deck in action, see how it functions. And lastly, just want to give a shout out to my boy LavaBot for these amazing Team Infinity Spade Platinum sleeves with the Dragon Shield Japanese oversleeve on it. They are looking super clean, and I love the way they make their cards look. Link in the description for his e-store. He's got a lot of cool stuff on there, so feel free to check that out. Alright, love you guys. You have a good one.